Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Concerned Citizen. My name is Matthew, and today we are going to talk about Elizabeth Hasselbeck attacking The View and basically saying not so nice things about her time on the show and how she feels about some of the co hosts, and says that The View and the media are in manipulation mode. And one of the examples that she uses is that basically, Trump's recent assassination attempt, the media has quickly moved on from that. And I guess first I would like to address that comment, which is basically, you know, Trump is kind of also leading how we also behave, which is he's already moved on. He's gone into attack mode. You saw his RNC speech, which basically was touted as being unifying before it was actually given. And then when you actually saw it, it's the same divisive and really division kind of rhetoric that he's always had. So Trump really led the way of telling us, okay, you're ready to move forward, you're ready to be back on track and, doing your usual thing. Okay. It doesn't mean that we have to, sit here and take it because something bad happened to you. You know, there are bad things that happen to bad people. We can still feel bad for them, or there's situations that happen to people that unfortunately are a result of their actions. So a good example of that is, you tell somebody, hey, don't touch the stove, it's hot. They reach over and touch the stove. You go, oh my gosh, are you okay? But I do know the reason why their hand was burned because they touched the stove. I think that we also know that Trump's rhetoric of anger and hate and just what the Republican Party represents, if you want to platform the Republican Party, to be honest, it's hate, it's fear, it's attacking those who are different than you, it's supporting just Christianity and also judging other people. It's division, it's not equality. So that's the party. And sorry, you're not going to have a lot of people who are excited or helpful or happy about that when you kind of gravitate to having people who hate lots of other people be in your inner circle, such as the KKK and other individuals, and you have them join you. You have to think about what type of people those are. They're individuals who are not trustworthy, or have only their self interest, and are eventually going to turn on you. So, not surprised there. Elizabeth Hasselbeck also says, and I'll just refer to her as Elizabeth going forward, but basically she says the Democrats are now about gender. And this is a party that is all about gender fluidity, but now are saying, that this girl is their person and they're trying to protect her. I think that Elizabeth is missing the point of progressives, liberals, and Democrats like myself, who it's about treating everybody with respect. It's about everyone having a moment and having a position at the table. It's not excluding people just because they are trans, like you, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, would like to do. It's not excluding people just because they want to live their life and they're not bothering anyone the way that you don't want them to. So, Elizabeth, it makes it very clear in the statement to me that really you're like, oh, I'm against trans people. I'm against this. And I only can see things one way. I'm very narrow minded. My mind is not expansive into that there's other people. It has to be about my position. It's about what I believe. And I may not agree with everybody and what they do, but I believe that people who believe, let's say, want to practice Christianity have the right to. I'm not going to attend your church necessarily, but that's what it's about. Like, okay, you can have that too. Just, you know, me as a gay man still has the right to live my life without you impeding upon it. So Elizabeth completely loses the complete point of what the Democratic Party is. And it's like you can't even take a moment to celebrate, like, oh, let's celebrate trans people. Let's celebrate women right now. Let's celebrate the accomplishments. Let's celebrate this historic moment. They get really pissed off when you do that. And the problem is that right now the Democrats are in such happy mode that the usual tax that the Republicans have, including Elizabeth, is not working, and she's getting pissed off. And you also tell because during the interview she says that her pulse is about to go through the roof. And it's because her normal tactics of sitting there and smiling and saying these comments, and Democrats and other people just reacting and being really offended, is not working, because they're just continuing going, hey, we're moving forward, and she's pissed off. So you know and she indicated, like, Democrats were waiting for the perfect time to announce all this. And it just so happens, Biden made this decision. I think that he was very, set in his ways of not getting out of the race. Unfortunately, I think it's unlikely that Democrats kind of plan to sell out this way. Why? Because here's criticism for Democrats, right? Is they're not really good at planning and messaging. So if you have a history of being bad at this, I doubt that they really did this. It just so happens that for once, it appears that accidentally it came out of the playbook of Republicans, because it's something Republicans would do. They would wait until the perfect time to get all these things out. And it worked for Democrats. And I think it was accidental. Accidental. I don't think it was intentional. But it's nice to see how things are on the other foot, you know? Oh my God. Basically, Elizabeth also said, I'm glad I'm not with View, being with that show and everything. And tell you the truth, Elizabeth, I agree with you. I'm also glad you're not on there. I was tired of seeing you on The View as well. So I'm happy. We're both happy. Look, we could be happy together. You're both not there. So it's not a loss that you're not there, to be honest. So crazy. She wants everyone to focus on Trump's assassination attempt, and the media doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And she basically says, if we're not focused on Trump, and everything that he's doing, he's a very resilient man. And she's basically saying, she's accusing the other side of being like drinking the Kool-Aid of Kamala, and that she's a girl, which, by the way, Elizabeth, she's a woman, not a girl. So get that right. And she then says, like I said, he's a resilient man, which actually shows, despite everything that this man has said about people and terrible things and the hate that surrounds him, Elizabeth thinks he's resilient and a good man. So she's a terrible judge of character. And it really shows that she's hateful as well. Like, his party and everything around him is hate and division. So that is really just something here that I don't agree with. And it's very telling, her, and I think it's Hannity in this interview having the conversation. Go check it out, search it. She's saying that the party wants to have it both ways. They want to be gender fluid, but then and support, and what she's saying is trans and all these other things, and support women. Well, they can't have it both ways. Well, if you're having a message of unity, you can have that. And that's what she clearly doesn't understand. She doesn't understand the power of equality and unity. I mean, they get unified in hate. They understand that. But, like, that's all they really see. They can't see the differences that everyone brings to the table. They don't know how to recognize it. They don't know how to appreciate that. They're basically like just really angry people. And, she's talking about, like, hey, they're going to support Kamala no matter what. And this really illustrates, how terrible the table is. And she talks about, like, she didn't think kind thoughts about her colleagues while she was at The View. And I was thinking, like, okay, you're saying that they're going to support Kamala no matter what, and why it's clear. And, and Hannity goes, Whoopi Goldberg says she's going to support Biden even if he pooped his pants. And yeah, I would too. And you find that shocking, but guess what? It's about hate and destroying the government, taking away the will of the people, telling people what to do with their lives, as far as women and the reproductive, gay people, schools, what religion we have, presidential immunity, so they can make all decisions for us, and it's no longer about a democracy. Yeah, it's very clear. I don't stand for any of those messages. I have no policies on Trump's side that I support. And she's saying, look, Elizabeth says Kamala has terrible policies. Okay, tell me why, Elizabeth, you're against raising the minimum wage. Why are you against protecting Social Security for our seniors and the future generations? Why are you against protecting Medicare and making sure that people actually are not bankrupt because of medical debt? Why are you against all of these things? Why are you against securing voting rights for all that Republicans have stopped and tried to impede on individuals who lean Democrat, who just so happen to be minorities, and closing voting places? Why do you support that? Why don't you support everyone having a voice at the table and being able to vote? Why, Elizabeth? Like, I want you to explain why you don't support all these things, because that's the platform of Kamala Harris. Unity, expand, keeping Social Security and protecting it, increasing the minimum wage, going after expanding, Medicare and protecting Medicare, getting those drug costs down. Why is that bad? I think we are conditioned by the Republican Party to think that anytime a rich person gets something, like Elon Musk, right? Supposedly, when this is not true, but Trump thought he was going to give him $45 million a month. He was like, we need to protect our smart people. Someone who has billions we need to protect? Really? Like, what am I protecting for? Is he struggling with medical debt? No. Is he concerned about retirement? No. Is he concerned about the pay and how's he going to afford food? And no. So what are we doing here policy-wise to protect this man? But we are conditioned, Elizabeth is part of this kind of inner circle of this brainwashing that happens in this country, which is anytime that people in the middle class or who are less fortunate, even poor, get something out of it, get something to help give them a leg up, to make housing affordable, to reduce the abuse, let's say recently, I know the Biden administration passed not so long ago about all these junk fees, right? Those are bad when we get that. And a lot of people are conditioned to say, like, be angry about like someone getting something, like student loan forgiveness. Like, I don't have student loan, what are they going to do for me? Can't we be happy that a fellow American who has worked hard and who is middle class and is trying to scrape and struggle and climb their way out of their situation to be better is actually getting relief? Why are we jealous about that? Eventually, yeah, let's advocate for things that benefit our lives as well. But let's not shoot each other in our foot. They use us to attack each other, to be upset when we all of a sudden have a win. So the federal minimum wage is going to go up, right? Right now, $7.25. Why do you agree it should be $7.25? If you say it should be $7.25, right, and that's what the minimum wage should be, go get a job and live on that. Actually try to support your family on that. And a lot of people are going to say, well, if you fight hard and you get, listen, how many CEO jobs are there? How many, rocket scientist jobs are there? There's only so many positions to fill. And that means that some people are going to be needed in these jobs and what they call low skill jobs, right? It's like you can't just have those jobs just sitting there without anybody, right? Even though technology, AI, and robotics are going to greatly reduce that, then those people are going to be in a worse position because there are even less jobs that are going to be available for them, because now these other jobs require skills, but guess what? I can't afford it because school is expensive and I have to choose between the roof over my head and going to school. So again, Elizabeth, you make no sense. I mean, it's clear to me who you are. I mean, your positions are fueled based on hate and just being angry all the time. Elizabeth says, and Hannity says during the interview, that they like Whoopi, and she's very friendly, and Elizabeth says that she can disagree with her, but the way that they attack her views on the show is not very respectful. It's like showing that the only reason they have a friendship is because it's on Whoopi's end. That's the only reason they have a friendship. So it's really crazy. I think that we on the Democratic side should be more confused why they support Trump despite his record, because they call out Kamala's record with not being good. And there was a report that actually showed like the record of another congressman who criticized her, and you put them side by side and you go, wow, definitely Kamala's record, it stands out a lot. It's just really upsetting. I'm not surprised, to be honest, by Elizabeth's comments. Not surprised at all. She falls in the same area of like Candace Owens, I believe, who was on was it Candace Cameron Bure? Oh my gosh, forgot her name. She used to be on The View. Candace, as well as referred to her as. She annoyed the heck out of me too. Because these are people who project themselves as being so caring, being of God in the sense of like who Jesus was, about this caring person who cared for all, but yet the first thing they do is judge other people. And I've reached a new plateau, a new level where the previous kind of conversations where I'm having double-sided conversations of like I need to give a little bit to have a conversation with you is done. I'm like, no, I disagree with you. I see no point. I'm not going to indulge your conversations, because every criticism you had of Trump or Biden, every criticism they had of Biden, there was 10 times the amount in that same little argument that they had that I could find up examples of why Trump was not, a good candidate and why Trump should step down. So, yeah, not surprised at all. And to tell you the truth, her words mean nothing in this situation, because she doesn't understand the perspective of and thought process of unity, equality, everyone having a seat at the table who is not a part of this hate. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Listen, Elizabeth's pulse was through the roof. When I saw her and her comments, my pulse was through the roof, because I was like, you clearly don't get it at all. Educate yourself. Expose yourself to other people. That's my point of view here. And Elizabeth, you should be on Fox News. I mean, they had to pay a lot of money for falsifying and going after, I believe it was Dominion. So, yes. And lots of their reporters had to be fired because of the information and falsification that they've done. Sean Hannity, gone. Look at Bill O'Reilly, gone. And this is the people he's surrounded with fraudsters and liars. And Trump, you gravitate and say he's a good man, a man who's really not paid his debts. And really, a lot of people who've done work for him are not happy after they've interacted with him. And that's the person you choose. You choose to surround yourself somebody who also has in the inner circle the Proud Boys and the KKK agreeing with him. And I think that when I go and look around, I go, wait, I'm at the same event and we're all supporting the same person. I need to think twice about my position here, because if they're welcoming, embracing these people and this hate, that means that I am welcoming, embracing this. So there you go. Thank you.